And on that note as well, we've spoken a lot about compound movements, and typically we might see those at the beginning of someone's workout. Very, very used to seeing a deadlift at the beginning, a squat at the beginning, a bench press. But I recently saw that you mentioned that you're not too much a proponent of putting a compound movement at the very start. You might put some corrective exercises in first, or a couple of different joint opening exercises, for example, before you put the compound. Can you explain your rationale behind doing that?
Yeah, sure. So again, just to make it a little bit more interesting and prevent myself getting too technical, how would you feel if you went to see this blockbuster film? So you're waiting for this film to come out, and it's like a new Marvel or new James Bond or something like that line, and it's absolutely insane at the beginning. There's this unbelievable scene at the beginning. There's this car chase or this big fight or something in the first 10 minutes of it, and then it gets kind of tapers off, tapers off, tapers off, and then it just kind of finishes, and there's nothing, and it just kind of gets to the end. And you're just like, well, actually, it just kind of filtered out. It didn't really go anywhere. It started really good, and then it kind of went then. And the reason for kind of explaining it like that is that compound movements, to do them effectively, they need to be respected. And the way I see it is that, again, if people, even as a personal trainer, because as a personal trainer, if you've done like 6 sessions a day, or you've done 3 sessions in the morning and then you're going to train, all you've essentially done is stood around. So you're still not like, you've still been quite rigid. But if someone's been sat down a lot and then they go straight into the gym, they're going to be quite, like I said, maybe quite stiff or restricted. So the way I do things, or the way I like to think, is that what do I want to know is moving. So what is moving really well before this person is going to put the most amount of load through the body. So have I done something to stimulate the core, maybe something to warm up the knees or hamstrings or whichever. So even though some people think, well, you're pre-fatigued because you've done all this stuff beforehand. It's like, yeah, but pre-fatigue in compound movements is a good thing, because you're going to be more aware of the muscles that you want to use, and it's going to prevent you from lifting loads which you may not be able to do. But essentially, all the joints will be warmed up and oiled up nicely. So it's again, whenever I've like coached people through it, or I've said, have you got any questions about your program? This is the thing they ask, is that, why am I doing squats or deadlifts like third or fourth in the plan? And again, it's that reason, is that I want to make sure that everything's moving fluidly. And what people forget is that joints in our body are a lot like joints on hinges on a door, or joints in a car, is that they need lubrication, they need to move. And the more you do that, the more the system will move more effectively. And there's nothing more important, in my opinion, in a program than the big movement you're going to do, such as the squat or deadlift or bench press. So we need to really respect that. So it's really almost like a glorified warm up. But say, for example, someone is a back extender squat, so they really fall forward, and they kind of use their lower back to extend it up, and that's quite a common issue to have. It might be that person, the issue is their ankle mobility. So if I give them like a calf exercise, then I give them a split squat where they're really driving their knee forward, and then I give them a core exercise. I know that the spine's nice and warmed up, their ankles are warmed up, and their knee knows how to track over the foot better. So they're all the components that you need for a squat. Why would you do them after, if they're what you really need to do before? If you really want the squat to look, to perform the best, it doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, there are going to be occasions 100% when I might put it a bit earlier, or I might put it first, but that's with people who I know have that movement quality, who I've either coached for a while, or I've seen them lift and I know they can do that. So there are exceptions, but it just makes more sense to me to program that way.
And I think a lot of it might be just parking our pre-existing ideas of what a training program should look like, or even our egos at the door as well, because realistically I think a lot of people will have to take a step back in the amount of load that they can shift. But as you've mentioned quite a few times now, it's like there's no number that's worth compromising your health and your longevity long term. So I think if you can just change the perspective from, yeah, what am I actually doing this squat or deadlift for, and how long do I want to be squatting and deadlift for, or exercising full stop, then I think it's an easy switch to make.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I say, is that it's very easy to get attached to numbers, and I still set myself numerical goals with what I'd like to lift. But I just think the most important thing, I suppose you asked before, like, what's the one thing I would have said to myself when starting off training? It probably would be that no matter what, nobody cares what you lift apart from you. Literally nobody. Nobody. The only person who cares how much you lift is you.